plead innocent of all charges.
Talk about the good times with Talking Elvis.
Hello, everybody out there in Radio Land. It's Talking Elvis again. Episode 12. Not on my own. Who am I with?
Hello, viewers. It's Ian here again.
He's having a bit of a technology day. He's having a bit of a blonde moment, but we're getting there, aren't we? So
yeah,
you're not really...
may sound a little bit different today, but I am with you in spirit, if not in body.
Yeah, so he is live from the bathtub or the bucket or something, but we're getting there. We can make this happen. But let's have a look at what's been happening in the week first, just to put our date stamp on it. You got any news and views for us?
Well, I've got no news or views, but we're recording this over the Easter weekend. And for anybody who doesn't want to pay for the movie channels, but has got the free movie channels over the weekend, I think it's Movies 24 in the UK anyway. I think it's called Wedding at Graceland.
Oh, have they put that on?
Yeah, that's coming on, I think, on Saturday, and they're repeating it Sunday as well. So that's the only news I've got for you.
And you know, by strange coincidence, both times that's on, I'm really busy, right?
Before you do flick onto the channel to watch it, just go onto Google, look up Quentin Tarantino, and then see what your options are. How's that?
Yeah. Or if you have got insomnia, then watch it. Yeah.
I'm sure it will look very nice, and you'll have the lovely images of Graceland in so all its splendor, and that's lovely as well. But you can get that on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't realise that was on then. So we've had the Christmas at Graceland. This is the wedding at. Yeah.
Yes, and it'll probably be sandwiched between the Towering Inferno and the Wizard of Oz. So you'll be on the same sort of channels.
Oh no, if it's on Hallmark, it'll be Disease of the Week, won't it? It'll be Sarah, Portrait of a Teenage Alcoholic, a film of no merit at all. Fantastic. News and views for us, nothing new. Stay in, do as you're told, enjoy. We've got the weather this time. You know, what would you be doing a normal bank holiday? Sitting in the traffic? Yes, no good. Sit in your garden and watch Wedding at Graceland.
On the Friday and the Saturday, you'd be queuing up outside a store trying to get all your food for 3 weeks worth, even though they're only closed on Sunday. And the sun is shining. It's quite warm, especially in the UK. And embrace it. Why not? You stuck with
nice
it. Great.
So everybody out there is listening. Listen to a podcast. That's what I say. And you are. Thank you very much. So our first guest this week, well, you might know him as Neil. You might know him as Nutty Neil. You might know him as one of the Nutty Brothers. Over the years in the Elvis world, he's been a bit of a major player in the Elvis discos, hasn't he? I met him, 81, 82, to start with, at a local Elvis disco, and we'll talk about all of that in a minute. But we went right through. I did my first Hemsby's with him. Locally, he was a great mate round by us. And he's still flying the flag for Elvis everywhere else. How did you come across him, Ian?
Well, it's probably about 10 years later, wasn't it? It was in the early 90s. I'd been advertising myself as doing a sponsored bicycle ride across somewhere in Africa. I can't remember where it was. And,
how did that work out for you?
It took me longer to get back than it did to get there, I have to say. But yeah, Neil, for some reason, he picked this up in one of the local newspapers, I think. And he got in touch with me and said, "I'm best mates with the local radio station. Would you like to come along? We'll plug it, and then you can come to one of our do's." So we did. We and him went to Radio WM in Birmingham. We appeared on the radio. We did all that, and then we arranged to go to the do at the War Memorial in Stourbridge, and that's when I met you as well.
It is, yes. I found some footage of all that recently, so I've got to put that up at some point. I'll have a look at that. Yes, that's where you came along, and I was introduced to World Cup Willie, and the rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's a bit of a secret for you folks. Me and Vince weren't the best of friends when we first met.
Yeah, it really was. It was strange, but we were bonded with the booze, and I haven't looked back since, really.
No,
I'm hoping.
No, it's all been good since.
Or I haven't been sober since, one of the two. We must do a show about that one day. Shall we have a listen to Neil, see what he has to tell us? So it's the official autobiography of Neil. You've heard it here now. We're going to play it. He's going to take over the show here. We probably won't get a word in. Are you ready for this?
Let's take a trip down memory lane.
When they're testing the microphones and they go 1, 2, 1, 2, it's no good because you can't get your voice right. So what you do, right? The best thing to do is go January, February, March, April. It might take a bit longer because you have to do the full 12 months.
Yeah,
But it
what if
works.
you don't? What if you don't know the right order?
It doesn't matter. You can jump around if you want. You can do
Jump
February,
around.
January, April. It's still the same. It still works. But I
That's
hate this
good.
1, 2, 1, 2, bang, bang, bang. Can you hear me? Can you? Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
This is a very bizarre conversation I've dropped in on.
Yes. Yeah. What are you doing?
You.
Came in through the window.
You're
Hello,
very
boys.
easy to get me because I don't do this very often.
Oh no, this is good. You sound like you're in a bucket, but it's a very nice bucket.
At the moment, I'm in isolation, so it does seem like I'm in a bloody bucket. But there you go. Can't be helped. When you got to ask me, you got to be careful, are you? You know what I mean? You got to be careful.
It is. So what we're going to do is we're going to have while you're a captive audience, before you're a busy bunny again. We'll have to get you the audience. So what we want to do is we want to say, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Neil Williams, the DJ, the man, the myth, the legend, the bloke from Dudley. Here's Neil.
Bang, bang. Got me axe. Here's Johnny. Do you know what? Yeah, I mean, I like doing these because I do a few of these, right? When I'm asked, like, but I don't like it, when they start, they start asking things like, "What's your favorite?" They give you 5 questions down at the beginning, and I always say, "What's your favorite song?" What's your first? I don't like that. I don't like that.
Tough, you're gonna get it. It's in your contract. It's in your contract. You ask your agent.
Go on then.
So we ask these 5 to anybody who comes here. So first question: have you been to Graceland?
Oh, now do you know what? This is bloody annoying. This is, pardon my French, but it is very annoying. I nearly had a chance to go in '92, but I couldn't. Right, personal reasons. I also had another go in 2002, and never happened. And I was supposed to go this year, and at the moment it's really up in the air because we're not really sure what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes, I should be going. I should be going in May. It's obviously it's something every Elvis fans wanted to do, but it's just difficult for me because I enjoy what I do here. The flight used to put me off a little bit. I like doing little flights, but long flights. I mean, I did Jamaica a couple of years ago, and that was all right, really. That's what made me think, well, I could do America now.
I bet your arms ached.
I bloody did. Pardon my French again. I do swear occasionally. You'll have to stop that.
All right. We'll beat you with a big stick.
Can you bleep them? Thanks for that.
Yeah. We're gonna. What is it? You can't say that.
Yes, you can't say that.
So swear away. We don't care.
Next question before we get into the real. Where were you when you heard Elvis had died?
I was actually in bed. Yeah.
Same as me.
Yeah. I think
He's 30 years older than you, Ian.
I didn't get the news on the night. A lot of people did, but I got up to the sound of Mum downstairs crying and coming upstairs and saying, "You never guess who's died." And I thought, obviously, it was a member of the family. Like when she said it was Elvis, then obviously it did feel like a member of the family had died. And I remember I had to, because I was DJing in '77. When I was 16, I was DJing Elvis, and we'd got a rock and roll disco at a place called the Bush in Dudley in Dixon's Green, and I knew that obviously I'd got to pick up Elvis's new album. Moody Blue was out, and I hadn't got Way Down because I hadn't bought that. So I spent literally the day in Dudley and watched how the shops changed and because every single shop had a photograph of Elvis in the window. And like people were coming strangers were coming up to you and saying, "Oh, have you heard Elvis is dead?" And it was a massive. People don't sort of understand this, but it was a massive thing, especially
There was nothing like it, was it, in our life before?
No, it was a strange. The only other time it felt a little bit like this was when John Lennon was assassinated, but it was nothing really compared to the grief people felt when Elvis passed away.
Yeah.
So,
It was the test run for Diana, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, actually, yes, you're right there, because it did feel like the Diana day when that happened. Yeah, you're very true. And thought of that.
The Diana Day felt like it was when it was Elvis Day. That was the other way around.
Mm. Right. Yeah.
Sorry to be pedantic.
Oh yeah. Are you the
Right,
chairman?
right.
Are you the chairman of the Pedantic Society? No, I'm the vice chairman actually.
Yeah, mate, no, but going back to that, to just push it a little bit further, the rock and roll thing I did 2 days later. Always, there was a little play which was on TV. I can't remember who the actor was in it, but I know Pauline Collins was in it. It was called Long Distance Information. And it always felt to me, the end part always reminds me of that day, that night when we disco, because was literally 30, 40 teddy boys and girls in a line waiting for that pub to open up so we could play his music all night. It should have been not just Elvis. It was a rock and roll night, but that was really my first Elvis disco. Was that one, because we didn't play anything else. Nobody wanted to hear anything else. It was just Elvis all night.
Oh, great. Yeah.
There's a novelty in Elvis disco, eh?
Yeah. And you've not done one since. You've not done one, you've done 85,000.
Yeah.
So you really are the for me, I met you at an Elvis disco back in called 1980, blah blah blah. Yeah, early 80s, didn't we? When you were playing a bootleg version of Can't Help Falling in Love, and I went, hello.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't remember if it was of the Smiling Man or the Courthouse.
Courthouse, wasn't it, that one?
Was it the Courthouse? Was it?
Yeah.
Basically, because we used to play, we had these in them days. We didn't have really too many bootlegs like we have now, but there's 4 or 5 albums from Germany what came out, and I remember playing this this track, and this strange little fella called up and said, "Where'd you get that from?" And that was like, come out to my
He's still a strange little chap, except now he's a big strange chap.
Yeah, doesn't he? No, it's still strange. I bet he's still got them same badges, you know.
Yeah, of course he has. Yeah.
Yeah, was another guy who took over.
And the rosettes.
Because Vince had a lot of badges. He really did. There was another guy called Terry Brown, and he had more badges.
Terry. All praise to the great one.
Terry, we love Terry.
That's a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
No, mate. But yeah, I mean, how I started in all this really was a lady called Maggie Smith in around about 78 who used to come to me rock and roll dues, and at the time she was branch leader, and I did a couple of little things for Maggie, and then that stopped for a while. And then I had a phone call from Joy Ridgway, and she was the branch leader for the branch in Dudley. And I DJ'd for Joy for many years. It was me and Mike Coyle in Birmingham. We had Dave Richards up in London. We had Ellen Tipton, I can't remember where she was, Bromsgrove, I think she was. And we had Brian in West Brom. There was that many Elvis fan clubs and discos around. You could go to one literally every week. You know, it was just everywhere they were. And then, so I was asked to do the Birmingham one when Mike left. And that's really where I started. But it was Joy Ridgway what got me really beyond the decks playing Elvis, and of course Margaret and Malcolm Watkins, and of course we also did stuff. Well, you did lots with me, Vince, when we had the Stu Pony. Do you remember them days?
Yeah, I've just found I've been copying all my videos, my old Cine 8mm videos, and I've found loads of footage of the courthouse, not the courthouse, the War Memorial, and the Stu Pony. Yeah, so we got some cracking nights there. I've just recorded and really good turnouts.
What do you know? What that was amazing, because we used to get around about 400 people in the Stu Pony. Now we're talking about when we're talking about this, about 90s, was it?
It was. I mean, like the Annette Day was like the flagship day there. We had them coming out the rafters, didn't we?
Yeah, the afternoon was a bit weird because we thought we was going to bomb this, because I remember we started at 2:00 and we'd have the films on in the afternoon, because we actually pioneered the video disco, you and me, Yeah. We used to show Super 8 films in the afternoon, then we used to let them run through, and then when like VHS came on and stuff like. We used to do video discos, didn't we?
Well, that's it. Putting
Sorry?
that screen up was a bit of a game, wasn't it? that early screen you had, the big widescreen one.
I remember.
Oh my life!
It was a nightmare, that was, or that wood. But yeah, but like suddenly around about sort of 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, they just came from everywhere, didn't they? And it was there must have been 400 people at that show. It was an incredible show. That was.
And they drank, and they drank, and they drank. It was a proper night.
That was a proper job, and that was the thing with the stew pan. It was basically 2 rooms because you had the large ballroom, but if you wanted to get away for a bit and escape, and you could still hear the music. Was that little back piece at the back, wasn't there?
It was like one of the best venues we ever did, I think.
And you had a downstairs bar as well, which is good. We can escape from everybody.
That was the green room when Day came in, wasn't it?
Oh, those were incredible days, and. Yeah, there was also Conduits as well, wasn't there, in West Bromwich? Do you remember that one?
Yes. I can remember getting off at the bus at the wrong place every time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah. But we had some great venues, even though we're like in Bromsgrove. That was a cracky little venue.
Which one was that? The one where it was like the Wheel Tappers and Shunters one?
It was the same as the Real Tappers.
Yeah.
We had, what was his name? Leighton Buzzard. No, Leighton Summers. Leighton
Summers, yeah.
Elvis impersonators, wasn't he? He never sung or anything like that. He could sing apparently, but he used to come in and greet people. Exactly. That was incredible in them days, and it was a little bit different to today. In fact, a lot different to today, really. Yeah. But yeah, that was a nice little venue. That was it called the Austin or something?
I can't remember. It wasn't something to do with the dairy. It was like the Working Men's Club for the dairy or something. I can't remember. I'm having a flashback with just my age. So how did you get into Emsby? How did you get to be doing the discos there?
Like everybody else, except I know a few people who jumped over the fence. Yes, Vince. Yes, we got them. How I got into that? A long story, really. I've known like Kelvin before. Kelvin Ford's a good mate of mine who runs Yesterday Once More. We do all the themed shows, 50s, 60s, 70s weekenders, and of course, the main thing of that is obviously Emsby every year. We were doing an Easter special, but sadly that's had to be cancelled due to circumstances. But it was about 92 again, around about this period actually, where I had a phone call from Kelvin, and he rang me up and said, "Yeah, mate, do you want to?" Basically, one of his DJs had been taken ill or something. And he asked me if I could just jump in.
You'd have him bumped off, hadn't you?
Huh? Yeah, I bumped him off. Yeah, him off. I said, yeah, I'll come down. And in them days, I didn't really look like an Elvis fan. I wasn't your average. If you know what I mean, I hadn't got the quiff and all that sort of stuff, and you know what I mean. I didn't sort of wear, the t-shirts and stuff. I was more of I looked like a rocker, really. I got long hair down to my bum.
Yeah, we've seen the photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was that dog in the Muppets? It used to look like him.
The dog,
the one that played the piano, didn't you?
Ralph. It was Ralph.
Ralph. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to look like him. Anyway, when I turned up, they think I was the right person because like years ago, obviously, I looked a bit different. And little John was the guy who met me first. He's one of our guys who used to be behind the scenes at Emsby. And he said, "Well, this can't be Neil. He's more of a bloody rocker. This can't be right." Anyway, yeah. Calvin said, "Yeah, it is him. He's just changed a little bit since last time I knew him." So anyway, we did. I think my first one. It's a bit debatable because I know I've been with the firm 26, 27 years. I've known Calvin a bit longer than that. But the first one I think was it wasn't actually Emsby. It was Devon Cliffs. It was now Elvis Week in Devon's Cliff we did.
This is Henrik Knudsen from the Memphis Mansion in Randers, Denmark, and you are listening to the Talking Elvis podcast.
And I took all my vinyl stuff down. And Kelvin says, "Well, you're having a sale, mate, because you ain't going to be using them." I says, "Why? It was all CD, wasn't it?" "Well, I don't know anything about CD in them days. I was all a vinyl bloke." So he lent me a load of CDs, and I did the show on that, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then Kelvin says, "Oh, do you fancy doing Emsby this year?" I said, "Well, yeah, if I'm not tripping on anybody's toes, I'll jump in." So I did the first one. I think it was 92, 93, something like that.
I reckon
And
that was the first one
it-
I went to.
was it?
I
Well, I
think
did. I used to DJ every single night. I didn't have a break off. I used to do 7 nights. They used to literally, after the band had finished, reel me on, and I was, I've got to be honest, I was a bit of a nutcase really, because I could just keep on going all night. They'd have to drag me off the stage. I wouldn't get off the stage. I'd leave, go back to me chalet. They'd still be banging the doors and banging the tables, and I'd come back in and do another 2 hours. It was like that. It was absolutely manic. It was great times, but these days now, I'm happy to rein it in a bit now. So I tend to do me and Andy now. We tend to do like 4 nights, and we have guest DJs, and we have my great mate who's done a fantastic thing the weekend. If anybody caught it on Facebook Live, Dave Richards. Dave comes and does a set, and now my mate from who's basically doing some great work in the Midlands, Phil Shakespeare. He's doing a night for me as well now. So now I've got a bit older. I'm reining it in a bit, but it's just great. That was the Elvis discos basically are still going. It's a bit hard these days because there's a lot of sort of thing about the ETAs and the jumpsuit shows and things, and I enjoy those. I haven't got a problem with those. In fact, I work with a lot of ETAs, but as the years have gone on, Elvis's music has sort of changed a little bit with the with more, there's more sort of live performance of Elvis's music than there are Elvis discos. It seems to have gone the other way now.
Yeah, I would still rather go back to watching an 8mm print of girls on a 20-foot screen. Yeah, like we used to.
I'd love to do that again, Vince. To be fair, I'd like to do an all dayer like that. But again, we've said it many a times. I've even suggested with Phil and Dave that we all sort of come together and do it. But it's that situation. Are we would we get bums on seats? I think in a way we would. If we advertised it right, Ian, I think we'd.
Yeah, I mean, the old Locarno days, the powerhouse in Birmingham, when you used to queue round the block, those sort of discos is that's still what I remember. And we were saying on the show the other day, me and here, we were looking at these guys who were 50 odd, going, do you think we'll still be doing this when we're that age? Nah, of course not. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. But that's for joy of Elvis, isn't it? You know what I mean? His music will always on it, and it's nice when I follow music today, and it's nice when somebody even like Harry Styles turns up and he wants to play Elvis. You know what I mean? It made a mess of a film, I think, in a way, bless him. But having said that, it's nice that a young lad like him can be interested in the King. Yeah,
but it is that they've got to go back to the roots, haven't they? And it all goes back. It all goes back. And do we still? I mean, I haven't been to one of yours for a bit. We haven't been to any discos for a bit. Do we still get you chanting?
Yeah, chanting. I've never.
Yeah.
No, you don't get any of that.
Oggy, Neil, come on.
Oggy. See, things I'm allowed to do the Oggy thing because I'm half Welsh, you see.
Yes.
So at least a Welsh entertainer, I got them on my side. So I don't we do all sorts. So it's sort of the other stuff for you, give me an ease and all that sort of stuff, innit? I'm not asking for drugs.
No, that is just.
But we still do all that sort of thing, yeah. And also the dances, the I Can Helps and the Wonderful Worlds. That'll always, within the Elvis disco stuff, that'll always.
It's still people running to the floor, isn't it? To go, I got to do that, yeah. Has there been any new dances lately that you've?
Yeah, we've got a few things. I mean, but you get a new dance.
The Charleston one. I saw a Charleston.
Don't get me started.
Really? What? Charleston? So we've got line dancing to Charleston.
Oh yeah, we do Signs of a Zodiac.
Oh my goodness!
You haven't seen that?
I've seen that.
No,
yeah.
I'm desperately out of touch.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's horrendous. It's actually good. So the thing is, the Charleston Stroll. This is Strictly Come Dancing for you. They do I'm trying to find one for the American Smooth. There's got to be one for the American Smooth. But anyway, the Charleston. This actually isn't my dance because I don't like this song. right? Signs of a Zodiac is one of those songs which, when I was like Confidence and Dominic, when I hear them, I think, Elvis, why did you do that? You know what I mean? But you can have fun with these songs. They may not be the best of his songs, but you can have fun with them. And like when now you play Signs of a Zodiac and they all get up and start doing the Charleston Stroll, it's great. It is absolutely brilliant to see. And that's not my dance. I will tell you that dance that is. That's Phil's wife's, Mandy's. She wanted a Charleston Stroll, and I think that's the one they picked, probably because they know I don't like that song. It's great. I'm absolutely loving it, but I still don't like the song at all. I have to clench my teeth when I play the damn thing. But the other one as well is the bird for Down in the Alley. Now, I can't tell you what that is unless you've seen it. You've got to see it to believe it. All right?
The bird.
Basically, you pretend that you're a bird, you fly your arms up and down in the air, and you play Down in the Alley.
Is it like a Peter Griffin thing from Family Guy? Have you done the bird?
Everybody's heard about the bird.
It's better than that. Better than that. Oh, yeah. But you'll have to come to Emsby and see that, or come to one of our Birmingham branch districts. We've started the branch up again in Birmingham. We did have a year off because we just couldn't do things last year. We had that much going on. But this year we started.
What's your venue?
Pardon?
Where are you doing it now?
Well, I'm doing it in my back room at the moment with you guys. And oh, sweet me. Oh, crikey. It's off Swan Island. It's called Yardley Ex-Servicemen's.
Oh, you're back at that?
We're back there again, yeah. Sadly, we can't have the big room downstairs, but we've got the smaller room upstairs. But it holds around about 150, which is, to be fair, on an Elvis disco now, you're averaging, like the old days, used to be 400 or 500. We're averaging between 100 150. So it's comfortable. You
want enough room to dance, don't you? You don't want to be on top of each other.
You don't. Well, in some cases you do, but in other cases you don't. But you just got enough room to bounce around in there, so it's not too bad.
As long as there's a bar there, we're right.
Yeah. If we can lean, we're good at leaning.
Down, you did leave the bar, mate, but you did for a couple of dances, which was really, really nice to see. But there's always a bar. It's important that you have an Elvis disco with a bar. Dude, you can't do it anywhere else, kid.
Talk about the good times with Talking Elvis.
I think this is when the crisis is all said and done. We're going to be back at the Elvis disco because we've missed it, and solitary confinement has made you realise.
You guys are doing great. I mean, I'm not trying to make you big-headed or anything like that, but what you're doing like now with obviously what Ian's doing is a fantastic job in Cambridge, and it's nice that you have actually got disc jockeys, radio DJs, and presenters like yourselves doing this, because it keeps Elvis fresh on the radio or on Facebook or on YouTube, and it's a good thing. You can actually like sit with your mates and talk about Elvis, and it brings memories back, which is great.
It really is.
But it's nice.
We were talking to Jamie Kay last night from America. And she said basically exactly what you've just said, Neil. It's a case of, we're still talking about Elvis now, and if you get the chance to do this, put a podcast out. It's bringing people together again, hopefully. Anyway,
it is, mate, and long may carry on, and keep on what you're doing because you're very good at it. I'm very surprised actually knowing you two for how many years. I thought, crikey, these are going to be a right pair of ludicrous. Actually, you were very, very good, and I'm proud of you. Well done.
Cheers. Nice. We've been talking bollocks for years, so we just thought, let's record it.
Yeah, too right, mate. Oh, bless you.
That's fantastic. Well, we have sort of intimated that we might return to do Hemsby, haven't we, Vince? We thought, why not? Let's just stock up on the Red Bull and the Pro Plus for a week or so, and the snaps, and just go for it.
The thing about Hemsby as well, it does still happen for me and Andy, and Andy gets a bit annoyed really sometimes because people are very generous. Elvis fans are very, very generous, and when we DJ, I mean, I don't drink a lot, but I do like a Budweiser, right? And you can guarantee, like during the night, some guys will bring you a Budweiser up or always that and the other. And of course, Andy drinks something completely different. But they always bring Budweisers up for me and Andy. And Andy goes, "Oh, I can't drink this." So I get lumbered with it. And the one night I had about 13 bottles. And I keep telling people now to bring them up with a top song because it's a bit better that way.
Yeah.
Keep a fridge in the back. But it's really nice. Elvis fans are really generous. I like to see you. I don't like to see you like absolutely bladdered, but I like to see you having a good time.
What you'll have to do is start
can't
taking credit cards. Just take £3 off them each time.
It's like when we do our shows, me and Andy, and that, because like we call ourselves the Nutty Brothers now. We've because I went to Spain for a few years, and we used to do our. I worked in Kelvin had a bar over in Spain. We had 2 bars. We ran them together, and we used to have our Elvis nights there with a guy called Ricky Lavazza on a Sunday night, and they were brilliant. But when I came back, Phil had already got hot shots going and stuff like that, because Phil used to work with me before I left. And then when I came back, I was DJing. I went straight back, basically DJing again for Birmingham. And he says to me, "Why don't we start up and do our own thing?" And I said, "Yeah, why not then?" So not only do we do like 70s and 80s and birthdays, parties, weddings, and that. Obviously, Andy, he's a good little DJ, and he works with me now. And we go around all over the place with the Elvis shows. It's just great fun. But yeah, what I was going to say, I've lost track of it a little bit. But yeah, we as I said, we had a little year off last year, and it was that thing where even though we were working with a lot of ETAs and helping them with their music and that, there's nothing for us better than just having a full night of Elvis on the big screen and listening to the real thing. So.
And we always do say, when we have conversations, don't we, Vince? We always do say, it's like, how would Neil have done this? Because we started looking at you and looking up to you,
I always say that we did our apprenticeship with you.
Yeah,
and I still haven't had my certificate.
Even I didn't really sign you out because you weren't that good, really, to be fair.
You bastard.
So it gives me recognition for like things what we've done together, and like we did the classic Laurel and Hardy clip, the I'm Not Loving You Baby.
Yeah.
That's the little thing what me and Phil did years and years ago. Phil, I've got to give him credit for all that, because the idea first of all was going to be Such a Night, and then it got changed to I'm Not Loving You Baby, which absolutely worked, absolutely brilliant. So, I've got to go back a long way with Phil and the Discos, and also, of course, Jensen Bloomer. I started Jensen up in this game years and years ago. And look at Jensen now. Exactly. So, yeah, it's nice when people like Jensen, when they're on stage as well. Let's say, I'd like to sing a song for a good mate of mine, Neil, or Phil plays a song, or Dave gives me recognition, or it is not, and yourselves, it's nice, but I have been around a long time, I suppose, and and I hope to continue a bit longer.
Well, you're always welcome on here.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, and you've got to continue doing it, Neil.
Tell us all the dates of anything that's coming on in the future when we're back on the other side, and we'll plug them on the radio and on here all the time, and we'll turn up when we can.
Technical, as you guys know, but I'll get Andy to do all the pressing of buttons for me.
Well, have you still got a carrier pigeon?
Carrier pigeon? Yeah, I have actually. To be fair, it's not a carrier pigeon. I've got a very friendly magpie, and I can't get rid of her.
Is it Jenny Hanley?
I think she's an Elvis fan, because when I'm playing Elvis in the back room, I've got a video on, on the screen and whatever. This bloody magpie's banging the door. Seriously, it's mental. But it's just things that happen to me. But yeah, I call her Maggie May, and has got a friend called Maggie Won't. So.
Oh, I love the girls that do, and
every one of them. Anyway, cheers. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. Ian, got anything else to ask him?
No, still as fresh as ever, Neil, and I'm really grateful to talk to you again. It's been great fun, and yes, we will go and have a bottle or two at some point.
Do you know what this has been reminding me of today? Arthur Askey on Parkinson. You can't get a word in, can you?
You can never get a word in with me, mate. You should know that by now.
Yeah, I've been off and made a cup of tea twice.
Neil, absolute pleasure, mate. Really good to talk to you.
Thanks very much, mate.
Stay well, guys. Bye-bye.
Stay well. Bye now.
One thing's for certain about Neil, he's not short of a word or two, is he?
Yeah, he always has the answer, even if you haven't asked the question.
And you know what? That was an absolute wonderful trip down there with Neil. The three of us chatting together, and it was just like we'd never all been apart. You know, it's like we're still doing this every weekend, isn't it? And that's lovely to have that sort of longevity in friendship.
I think this is it. You know, this is where we're like this. Your real mates, when you can not see somebody for ages and you just pick up where you left off. And life gets in the way for all of us. People move around, circumstances change. But to be honest, when we all get together, we're just 21 again, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, and then some. No, it was an absolute pleasure that was to get in touch with you.
Yeah. So do you think we ought to make the effort and get out to one of his shows, get off our arse? There's always a bar, so we're going to want to go, aren't we? Come on, let's be honest.
It should be good, and we'll take these here recording devices with us, and we'll get that out to everybody.
Or do you think we could do? Now we're dead technical. Do you think we could get round to doing a Facebook Live from there?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh,
there's a thing.
Neil, if you're out there in Radio Land, we're coming to get you, right?
Absolutely. What a laugh that sounds.
Yeah. Before we've had a drink, probably, or do we allow to do it after we've had a drink? We'll do it after as well.
I was going to say, if you're going to do it after we've had a drink, you'll have to put it on after the watershed.
Yes. Yeah, you can't say that. That'll be right. So if you're one of the 8 squillion people who have probably met Neil and Elvis Disco over the last few years, let us know your stories. Let's get him in. Let's get him in again. This could run and run and run.
Hi, guys. What's on the show next week?
Well, I'm glad you asked, mysterious lady who keeps popping up in the studio. Yes, we've said on the back of the show we did the other week, the top favourite female characters in the Elvis movies. It's time to do the fellas. So Ian, get your scribbling notepad out. We've got to find the top 5 male supporting actors in Elvis movies. Are you game for that?
What, more work?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Okay, look at it as a drinking game.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to go get my book now.
So, Neil, thank you very much. And as a great philosopher once said, give us an E.
Find us at www.talkingelvis.co.uk or Facebook or YouTube or Spotify. In fact, any place you get your podcasts.